Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Friday, the 7th of July. So, looking at the euro dollar first, and well, just to remind you, it is non-farm payrolls today. So, at around about 1:30, at 1:30 itself, we will be given the data, which may create its usual high volatility in the market. Normally, on non-farm payrolls day, we see a bit of volatility this morning, then a quiet mid-morning to through to the figures coming out, and then some quite high volatility. Now, also this afternoon, we've got the Bank of England governor speaking at the G20. So I'm not sure of the time of that at the moment, but it is at the G20 meeting. So there's one to watch out for on the pound, particularly at well, this afternoon. If I get better timing, we'll post it. But at the moment, it's just programmed on the Bank of England site as he's speaking at the G20 meetings, Hamburg. No text to be released. So there we go. Right. Okay. So let's have a look at the markets. Euro yesterday did get the upward movement. As I said, there was the indecisive candle there, and sure enough, instead of selling off, it continued the route, or say continued the route, reversed as the candle suggested, and it is currently pushing towards yesterday's high, yesterday's the last week's highs. As I'm looking at it at the moment, it now. So whether or not it curls around from where it is at the moment, may just want to come back. It has got the daily pivot below us. Wouldn't be surprised if it just was to take off it or, at some point and just continue in its route. It's back to the 60-21s, or at least the simple. It may want to come off further. If we start seeing it breaking down post 8 o'clock, maybe we'll get a move back towards the pivot there. But any indecision around that point and any sort of start of a move, it could just break the trend line that's sitting across the top there. Let's just pop that on there. There's a bit of a trend line sitting across there. If it starts breaking through that, well, it may go back towards yesterday's highs, which has already been pipped already on the first bar of the day, but it may break that sort of area properly this time and push on upwards, maybe towards the daily R1. Maybe a big ask initially, but as the non-farms came out weak, that would certainly give it a booster. Okay, let's have a look at the pound. Well, the pound here is put a pivot swing in on the dailies, which is a bullish sort of a bullish pattern. Again, we could see some follow through of that. At the moment, we're seeing this retracement coming through, which really just come back towards the daily pivot. It's held up a lot through the Asian session there, late US session, Asian session. We are selling off at the moment. It may want to come back down and break through the 34 towards the S1 back into yesterday's range, maybe lower. It depends on the number of things. Obviously, you've got non-farms out later. We'll see how it runs through this morning, but any break of this sort of upside could see it then pushing forward towards well, yesterday's highs and the daily R1. So it depends on how it works out. It's selling off at the moment, but looking just to check, there is some manufacturing production data coming out at 9:30 as well, which will affect the pound. Certainly that normally gives it a bit of a kicker one way or the other. There's quite a bit of volatility around that data. So that's manufacturing production at 9:30. Thereafter, we just sort of reliant on the G20 meetings, but as I say, non-farms 1:30, which will certainly affect it. And whenever Bank of England governor speaks, we expect to see some volatility. So that's the pound, dollar yen. Well, dollar yen's pushed on upwards, broken the earlier week highs there, and continued this shove up. It looks like it's back off to risk off again, doesn't it? And it's yeah, pushing up towards the monthly R1 there. Well, the weekly R1. Messy old bars through there, almost diverging, not quite up to divergence. So we may get a bit of divergence if it runs into the previous highs there. Yeah, it's just looking, it's already hit the daily pivot R1 and R2. It makes it very difficult to work out what the potential is, and I think this one may just consolidate as we push in towards the non-farm. So difficult one to picture for me there. It's already done its daily range and probably a bit. Aussie dollar. Okay, trend seems to certainly be in this intermediate time frame to the downside. So I just look at the dailies there, and you see it's been selling off to the downside. Are we finding a bit of a turnaround, having seen the pound and the euro move around? Well, it's been really slow yesterday. Continued its sell-off. It's certainly the weaker one all of a sudden, having held up a lot better than the others. But are we going to see a change of direction here? Just above its daily pivot at the moment. Maybe if we see a break of the trend line that's coming across, if I can draw that on, that may be more. Oops. So a break of this sort of level here may suggest a bigger move to the upside there. Likewise, there's a little, obviously two lows across there join the trend line, and if it past 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock all the time, it starts rolling over. Well, be looking for the daily S1, those previous lows. Right, okay, it's the Aussie and Canadian dollar. Actually, before I do that, let's just keep an eye on what's happening to oil. Oil's been shoving up quite well during the week. It's okay, it's eased back a bit at the moment, sitting back at $44. Well, okay. Now we would expect with the oil price coming off like this for the Canadian dollar to be pushing up. What's it doing? Pulling that back. And it's been pushing up reasonably well there. So a bit of a rounding maybe. Okay, we possibly get up to the weekly pivot today if the jobs data, because there sorry, as well as the US, there's a Canadian employment data out as well, so we could get a double whammy and push right the way through in one day there. But we'll see how this moves. It's at the moment looking like it may be trying to put a bottom in. We had diverged previously into the lows here, and it looks almost like the RSI certainly haven't got down here as low as over here. Well, actually it did there, beg your pardon. So well, perhaps okay. But initial divergence, and it's not had a great reaction to it. I think on the upper time frame it had a bit of divergence on the dailies there, but either way, it's, as I say, looking like it, well, could be looking to push up further. I would just wait and see what happens first thing this morning. If it starts selling off towards the pivot, which has got good probability, watch let that happen first, and then from there make the decision. I mean, if it's going to be bouncing from there, then there's plenty of room to get in before we get into towards the sort of key highs there. So just watching and waiting for that to set the marker out. Okay, that's pretty much it for me. Not anything else here on Newswise. Have a great one. Bye for now.